Welcome back. Today we're doing some downlights, so this is what we're dealing with right now. So I took the center pendant down. The kitchen's just been rejigged. This bit used to be like an island, a U-shape. The U-shape's gone. We've got the island over there. So everyone keeps smacking their head on the what was existing hanging light fitting. But the downlights we've got, so this is what gets me back in the day when I try and tell customers we need to do the downlights in a shape, in a style, in a line. Something like that to make it make sense. And every now and then we do come across where they put just the spotlights as and where they see them fit. You know, we've got a spotlight above here where the hob is, we've got a spotlight directly above where the sink is, and then a spotlight what is exactly smack bang center of the doorway, which is sometimes really nice to go off. But we're gonna have to obviously change this all because we're getting rid of the center light, it's not needed. We're gonna be putting some spots in. I've got with me pre-selected stuff from the unit this morning. We've got a JTC fire guard with the anti-glare bezels in their 5-watt 4K LED bulb. We've got some of the BG Evolve matte black edition range stuff, timer for the front door, I'll run through that in a bit, socket, hole saws. I've cut some strips of MDF wood that we had lying around spare. So I'll pull these down, show what we're doing with that, how we can try and fix and manipulate the existing plugs with the new plugs to fill the old plugs and yeah, okay, cool, okay. First things first though, before I do that, just turn the light off. We've got our dusty boys, let's get them out, let's get this across the side. I have moved as much stuff as I can without going over the top, just to cover this up before we get loads of dust drops down. Because I've been here before, I knew for a fact I could do all these downlights without floor coming up above or channeling the ceiling. Joists go this way, and this way. So I could use existing lighting that's in, take out, put the new one in, rod across to what we need to. So just so you're all aware of where I am. Right, come on. One little thing I've just noticed with the original positioning is this light is 104 centimeters to the center of this light, and then this one is about 180 to that one. So obviously, being me, I want to get it smack bang perfect measurements if this is possible. The only one that we physically cannot move is the one behind me. Reason being, directly here in line, that there is what essentially is the end of the house. That is the garage. This bit is a separate roof. So if I was to stick my torch up here, you can see the steel, well, you can see, I'm not sure, the steel that goes across and then the steel that goes across. So this technically, this light all the way down there is a cavity between the two ceilings, lofts, whatever you want to say. So this one has to stay. So that's what gave me the idea to look at this one. This one is directly on the edge of a joist. So we've got stud buddies out, which are the magnets. That's to there, that's to there. We've got a 500 mil movement there. This one here is exactly the same. The joist is this side of it, so we can push it back that way. This will give me a chance now to measure between the light that has to stay where it has to stay to the center of this trough, to then get a rough measurement of what I want, to then try and duplicate it across here to get them all in the same line. And then what we're gonna do for measurements coming this way is just kick as much as we can within reason away from the tall boy unit, so we're not casting a huge amount of shadow, but at the same time, it is the oven, so it will be helpful. We want to keep this in and around where we can on the sink. And then to this one here, it's going to be pushed a bit more towards you guys, but we'll still get a really good clearance for the hob. So I'm pretty happy with positions. I've got the laser up. I've done a few pencil marks where I was rejigging stuff, but the laser now is center. We've marked up as and where we want, but there's a few things I'm going to try and do. So I went B&Q this morning and actually bought some proper polyfiller for the first time, and I bought some actual scrapers and whatnot. So the plan is we're going to get the new holes cut out with the hole saw set, and then we're going to use the plugs that we cut out to plug in the old holes, but there is a vast difference in hole sizes. That's what she said. So we'll double up, we're going to try and find a hole saw that fits perfectly to this. And then what we'll do, if you've not seen the trick before, let's say this is the hole size that we need for the new fire guards. We will also put this in. It will sit tiny little bit above, but that will slot into the existing hole as it goes up to then cut the new hole, and then the plugs that we cut out from the new lights we can plug up into the ceiling. And you could do it with some plasterboard, but I want to get the new holes that we put, the plugs that we will put in from the new holes will already be painted and already be plastered and to the right surface, so we could just do some fine filler in and around. They can sand it down and paint it themselves, so that's the idea. So let's see, I'll shut up and let's see if this works. I'm still talking, I did say I'll shut up. First thing, so I'm just going to double check because one of the middle light is measured off this recess. So if I just turn the laser on from front and back, you can't see there, so that one's on that one. Just to make sure as we go through that the center one, see, I'll show you in a sec. Right, this is what I mean. So that's our cross. We go to the far one, that's on that one, but the center one I measured from this recess, because I presume that wall is slightly out, that is off. But what we can also do is measure off this line across to this to make sure that this measurement's correct as a big square. Okay, ignore this. This is exactly what I mean. So as much as I've done downlights a billion times, you get complacent, you mess up. And the reason I said to you is now we can measure from this side to this side to make sure it's right. I didn't notice the alcove here that kicks out. So that downlight was here, but this actually should be here. And genuinely, if I wasn't filming this, I would have gone ahead and cut that. And then I had to fill it up. So just triple and double check all your measurements all the way around, because that was a sneaky hidden alcove. All of them are cut out. I'm really happy with it, but we do have one issue. So if you want to do what I want to do, with stacking the drill bits up, slotting them in so it goes up. But the issue I do have is the downlights that came out, which are these ones. So this is the one I've cut for my fire guards here. This is the next size down. Obviously too big. Next size down. Too big. Next size down. Too small. So this has to fit snugly, yeah, that's the word, within there. If it doesn't, what will happen is this will vibrate, chuck this round. The external hole with your big drill bit on here will then just shake like hell. So what we've done, we've made a jig, scrap bit of wood outside. We've done this before in an extractor fan. We can either screw this to the ceiling, which I'm not going to do because I'm going to just make sure I do it carefully. And as long as we get that hole in and around, but you can see where it's chipped out, we want to get rid of all this. I'll put this edge here on this edge here, hold that up, drill that out. That'll give me a perfect cutout for our new plugs, which I've saved over here. Right, obviously the last thing you saw was me cutting out the sections, and what happens when you do that is you end up little bits like this. Moon, do you remember the Jaffa cake? Full moon, half moon.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, Miss.
Full moon.
Full moon.
Half moon.
Half moon.
Total eclipse.
Total eclipse.
Good.
Anyway, so I've been busy. The kids have come back, so I haven't filmed this bit, but I've put the lights in, and it's not the light, it's the lamps. So it might look quite good on here, but in here, it is no way near as bright enough as I wanted it to be, or what I think it should be. These are 5 watt, the only ones that I had in the local wholesaler at the time. These are just 5 watt bulbs. I think they're Mega Lux, and realistically I want 7. 7 watt would be ideal, but obviously because they're GU10s, we can just untwist it, twist it, put it back in. but these are obviously the anti-glare bezels as well. So as you guys can see, I'm not sure what it's like on the camera, but you can't physically see the bulb from the angle. It's just like a glowing disc because it's the internal bezel that glows up. But what I did do is pull the feedback from the center pendant, which just does these two center lights. And because we had the two switches, I thought as well, you come in an evening, if you just want to do the sink, you could just put these two on. And if you wanted to do the outside ones, you can do these ones. Or if you want mega light, which it really isn't that much, you could do them all. But now that's all done, I can get the filler out and show you how I'm gonna plug these holes as best as possible. Hey, it's not my OnlyFans, this is YouTube. I don't want to be teaching some of you guys to suck eggs or anything else, if I'm being completely honest. But MDF, if you don't know it, not MDF, if you don't know the technique of it, is pre-cut some slithers. So this would go, pretend this is your hole. You feed it in, up and across so it sits on it. You then put two screws to support that within the ceiling, and then you just screw center, sometimes a center screw within it, which will allow you to hold this in place, and you can fill around it. That's the idea behind it. And every now and then I do cut sections of these. I'm going to make some more because I've got loads of offcuts in MDF. It's just make some various sizes, because one up here, it's a noggin. It's not actually a joist. The original one's been caught, so the thinner slithers will work well, and then for the other ones I use the thicker slithers. Well, anyway, a little tip while you're doing it: put yourself a screw in this bit just to help you hold it. So as you push this up, see, I've made the vast mistake of, okay, we slipped up. Sometimes, give me that. Sometimes you want to put the screw offset so you can feed it. But this will now allow you to grip down. If you can't put your fingers around the piece of wood, you can grip down with some pressure as you screw up, hold it in place, then you can take this one out. I'll put you on the side. I'll put you next to some starfish. Okay. And one thing I do want to get is some drywall screws for this, because some people said to me it will potentially rust through. I mean, I can't see it. I've done it for years and I've never come back to jobs to see that I've done it, but a box of drywall screws won't go amiss in the van. Obviously, bringing the screws below the surface, bringing that out. I'm going to make sure the back of the plug you're putting on, the hole that you've drilled, nothing's coiled up, nothing's bunching up. You want this to sit as flat as humanly possible. Humanly possible, no. Sit as flat as plugs possible. And that's it. I'm going to put some filler in that now. I'm going to do all these ones, put some filler in, show you the finished product. And then moan like hell about the lights not being bright enough again. Right, so that's all done and dusted. I'll just show you. So from being here, these little 3 filler knives, I think they're £8, I think. But to be able to have a scraper that you can mix it with against the other scraper, like I do with the bonding, does help a lot. But with this filler, it's sort of a multi-layered one. So I've got the first layer on and let that dry. You would put another layer up, and then after that one, sand it down, paint it. But this just stops all the dust coming down. I filled up all these ones as well. It looks much worse on camera compared to what I can see, because obviously I've got a big wiped in and around as well on the ceiling, but the whole thing needs a new coat. But I'm severely disappointed with the lack of light, to the point where I even just tested the voltage to make sure that it's 230, 240, because it seems so dim compared to what we've got in there. But that is warm white, and that is also 5 watt, but yeah, just presume the color contrast, which I didn't realize, because this is meant to be 4K, so this is meant to be white, but it does seem a tint of blue, like it's 6K. And it's not, because I know it's not, because I've just purchased them. But compared to that, I'm going to speak to the customer, and we're just going to get some 7 watt, maybe get some warm white, depending on how they feel about this later on. But yeah, so that's the idea. Bit of filling, coming across, using the plugs, the different ones to use the hole, the plug that we've cut out, to use the plug we've cut out of this hole to fill an existing smaller hole with the methods I've shown. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'm really annoyed that this is the wrong colour or not bright enough. Anyway, love you, bye.